We're here. We're back. Yes. Hello and welcome to Season 2, Episode 15 of Carvers and Creators, a weekly demonstration and discussion with pumpkin carvers, sculptors, and multi-talented artists. We please ask that you please consider giving us a like and a follow on the platform you're watching us on. Please let us know in the comments where you're watching from, and if you have any questions for the carvers and our special guest. My name is Michael Mondragon. I'll be running the show, moderating comments, and chiming in from time to time. Let's meet the carvers. First, he is an artist and sculptor from Boston, Massachusetts. He is the 2019 champion of Food Network's Outrageous Pumpkins. Paul Dever, welcome.
Hey, Paul.
Hey, happy Thursday, everybody. Good to be back.
Right on.
Happy Thursday.
Next, he's a multimedia sculpture artist from Tucson, Arizona, and a finalist on Halloween Wars 2019 on the Food Network, Matt Harper.
That looks just like me. Thank you.
Maddie.
Check out that head shine.
I know. Our guest tonight is an artist, sculptor, and pumpkin carver from San Diego, California. You may have seen her on Outrageous Pumpkins and Halloween Wars on the Food Network. Please welcome Monique Hawk.
Hi, Monique.
Thank you. Hello, everyone.
Thanks for joining us.
Happy Thursday. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Pleasure to have you. Pleasure to have you. So usually at the beginning of the show, we like to see what we did last week, but we were off last week. So 2 weeks ago, Matt, this was it was Euphoric from Outer Space.
Was that 2 weeks ago?
That was 2 weeks ago.
Wow, time just falls.
Well, you've done a lot of carving in between that.
I know. I still have pumpkins left, so that's my. I can't walk by them, too many times without having to pick. Come here, you little guy. You're gonna get carved. I can walk in there.
Dude, there's so many layers to that thing.
I know.
Visually stunning, man.
Thank you. The fun part about that one, just like any other big Hubbard or goofy looking one like that, they have layers of colors, and so you peel a little bit, it's like green, and then the deeper you go, it gets darker orange. So that was super fun because the lips and the nose and stuff have that green on it because they stick out further. But yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, use the Hubbard for the alien. Awesome.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
So talented.
Wow.
So good. So
Moving
good.
along.
So Paul, you didn't share anything but you were definitely inundated with a lot of carbs.
I had
but
things going on.
I am going to share something that you shared on your TikTok. And
You don't
Is
stop.
not human, and we are losing. In 11 months' time, all human beings in the future will be wiped from the face of the earth.
On site, fully armed. There's a ton of spikes down there. Friendly's on the ground. Take cover.
Get out of there, move now.
We're working on it. What the man?
We are fighting a war 30 years in the future.
So freaking cool.
That was
Thank
awesome.
you. From a little
Hey.
collaboration with a little company called Amazon Prime Video. No big deal.
Nobody-
Never heard of them.
I was very humbling and very happy to be asked to do that. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, and it was a Hubbard from. It was an alien. I mean, you couldn't.
Yeah, that was a
you
huge Hubbard too. I mean, it was
So cool.
it's bigger than the window frame that I could
wow.
show. It was probably close to like 2 feet long
Oh my god.
because I couldn't figure out how to do it out of a pumpkin because of how their heads were shaped kind of like an insect. So I shopped around for a big Hubbard and I found that one and then had to segment it and put it all back together. So
That's so cool.
Did you use
Perfect.
potato for the tea?
did I use what?
Potato?
No, it was actually a pumpkin I had carved like 2 hours before for Amazon
Awesome.
Prime, and it had light skin, so I just chopped the back off it. Waste
Look
not,
at
want not, I say.
recycling.
Oh.
Recycling.
Yes,
That's right.
I'm all
Very
about recycling.
earth-minded.
Mm,
The
very-
environment, huh?
I'm so about the environment.
California approved. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, totally. I couldn't tell you where that thing is in my yard now. I threw it about as far as I could.
it was fascinating.
It's
and,
awesome, Paul.
Thank
Yeah.
you very much. I appreciate it.
So you made that video by yourself as well, right? Did you?
Oh yeah. Nope, that's just the old iPhone time lapse and a bunch. Well, to be fair, the final TikTok, they took it out of my hands. I am shizer at it. I'm terrible at making TikToks. But I take all the video. I know how to make the good videos. And then I gave it all to them and they put it in a pretty package and then sent it back to me.
That's awesome.
I'm not going to complain. They did a great job of it.
So cool.
It was a pretty cool hookup this year.
Yeah, and you've got a ton of other time lapses from them on your site too. So if you guys haven't checked them out, go to Paul's Instagram, and I think there's a bunch of them on there, right?
Yeah, they kept me really, really busy this year. I think I want to say I did 13 to 14 for Amazon.
Nice.
Yeah, they kept me really busy. A lot of late nights trying to squeeze in. I'm sorry?
Do they have you ship them anywhere or just do the content?
Just the content, yeah. I did. I mean, it was about as nerve-wracking and stress-free as it could be. If you know what I mean. If I had to ship them, that would have been a nightmare, right? Just the weight alone. And this one was kind of fragile. Like you could see in the back of the mouth, there's that black. You can see the black void in the back. That was actually a piece of 1/2-inch pipe, and I had it screwed to my carving desk because that thing was that was a pretty heavy squash. It was probably about 50 pounds. Yeah,
very cool.
You know, it was a good year. It was a fun year, challenging, and it was one of my most fun carving seasons to date. I'm definitely aged about 5 years stress-wise, but it's all about, right?
Little touch of gray for men, you know?
Oh, yeah. No, my hair's just, I'm not even going to be able to grow a beard anymore. It's all going to fall out under my lower back. I don't know why it lands there, but it does.
Great visual.
Hey, let's see mine again.
Hey, let's
Well, Monique, I'd like to introduce you to the fourth member of Carvers and Creators. It is the Hollow Wheel, the Center Spinner, and it will decide what we are carving tonight, and you are carving tonight, correct?
Yes. I'm gonna give it.
Awesome. Love
That's
it.
so cool.
Big fan. Big fan.
So let me solo in on Paul. There you go.
Hello. There he is.
Hi. Happy Thursday, everybody. If you are not familiar with the wheel, I'll run through really quickly. Say hello. First spin is the inner choice here on the inside. That's going to be fantasy, allergic reaction, clown, nerdy, botched plastic surgery, frank, guest choice, abstract sculpt, which is tough, primate, demonic. Some good choices, some swap outs, right? We were getting a little, we were too stuck on Halloween. Halloween's over. We're moving on. The outside spin will be sulking, hysterical, suspicious, irritated, drunk, grizzled, diseased, euphoric, charismatic, or repulsive.
Sweet. It's a nerdy one, huh? We got a nerdy one.
Yeah, let's get a drunk nerd. That'd be sweet. All right, are we ready?
Simon.
I'm nervous.
Fantasy.
Oh.
Fantasy.
Okay. Like Fantasy Island. I'll do tattoo.
Yeah, that'd be sweet. No, you are definitely not tattoo, my tall friend.
Hello, Bob.
Hey, Bob.
You're Ricardo Montalban. A suspicious fantasy character.
Okay.
My dog didn't like that.
Yeah, your dog did not like that.
Arson wants a respin. All right, interesting.
He's just said it again. Yes. Respin.
Good thing you do that, Mick, now with putting it into the chat what we're actually carving, because Matt and I usually forget 5 minutes in what we're
right. Yeah, I already forgot. What is it again? Fantasy something?
Yeah, it was like,
all right.
So yeah, it was a
like
Gordon's fisherman.
is conniving or something like that. I don't know.
It was something. It's not important.
Suspicious fantasy. Good Lord.
Fantasy.
All right.
We'll figure it out at some point.
Yeah. So if you're carving with us tonight or drawing or doing whatever you're doing, we're going to give you 5 minutes to get all your stuff together. While you do that, we're going to go around the horn and see what we're drinking tonight. So Monique, do you want to start us off?
I think I was the most nervous for this part.
Because you've been sober for 10 years?
I was nervous. I went to a couple places. There was one I wanted to share with you guys. This is a beer that I've had. I don't think I'll ever drink it because it's so special.
Okay.
This is from Utah, and it's called Polygamy Porter.
Polygamy. Right on.
Oh, wow.
This
Well, you
beer?
can't drink it alone. You got to drink it
Zoom
with
in,
two other
Mickey.
people.
I gotta see the label.
So the slogan,
Takes a
I don't know
village.
if I have it on here. Their slogan is "Why have just one?" And I think it's great. So I like to share that with my fellow beer connoisseurs. However, the one I have tonight is called Melvin. It's from a brewery in Alpine. I'm just
Alpine.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But check this out. This guy, it's a little Carver guy, and I'm like, this is gonna be perfect.
No way.
Well, it's
I
a
like
double IPA. This came highly recommended to me. And we had a question earlier. What would you call basically the equivalent of a wine sommelier, right? Like a beer connoisseur. What would that be?
Oh, there is something for it. My girlfriend's in the chat. There is actually a word for it. Yeah. With an accent over the
Barney
I.
Gumble. I think that's what they call it. Barney Gumble.
We'll have to. I'm curious. So whatever that person is, his title. This came highly recommended,
Yes.
and it's a whopping 9.9.
Whoa.
Yes.
Yowza.
Yikes.
So here we go.
Right on.
Let's do it.
That's a
Are we
good one.
funneling? We're funneling these tonight, right?
Right. We're butt chugging them, I think.
I can't pronounce it, but is it a Cicerone? Is that right?
I believe that's it. That is it.
Isn't that what you
Cicerone.
said, Monique? I thought you said.
No.
I learned a lot today.
Yeah,
Sommelier.
Oh, so Cicerone.
it's around.
Nice.
I like
Unless
it.
you want to say Cicerone.
Fantasy character.
Maybe the
Only
E
if you
silent.
do the.
Hey, the Cicerone. From Italy.
Hey, Cicerone.
Which is Madonna's last name. No, it's Chacon. It's actually Chacon.
Same thing,
Cicerone,
Mickey.
Chacon.
It's your own Chacon.
He knows her beer. Just leave her
Tomato,
alone.
tomato.
Paul, what do you got?
Well, I have the unicorn of IPAs tonight.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
I have a heady topper from the Alchemist in Vermont. It's rated the #1 IPA on the planet.
By
look at that. That's such a cool design. Look at that thing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And they get my giant head out of the way. Come on, focus. There we go.
there we go. Wow.
Yeah, heady topper. Very hard to get. My good friend Jeremy procured me one for this evening. So
Nice.
it is 8% by volume, 1 PINT.
Oh.
What did Jeremy have to do to get you that beer?
I don't want to know. It's not my problem. He
Thanks,
looked a little sore, but
MVP.
he is the MVP.
Yes.
Matt, what do you got?
So at my Costco, they have these still. So I picked up a 12-pack of
Donkeys, dude.
Donkeys. Our friends at Harpoon, and we love Harpoon beer.
Love Harpoon.
And so I couldn't get it. I couldn't not get it because it was Dunkin' Pumpkin. Right there.
So funny.
And those are like it's fine. Anyway, this one I haven't tried yet. It's a porter, I believe, also. So I was really afraid of. I tried one that was like a matcha latte IPA, and I couldn't even. After I took a sip, I think I threw the can out the window. with all the beer in it. I'm sure people love it, but I didn't. So I will be enjoying one of these, whichever repulses me the least.
I like it.
Spoken like a true Cicerone.
Yeah. Well, anything
Well,
Dunkin'
actually,
Donuts, you can't throw that away. Otherwise, the East Coaster over here might get offended, you know.
I know.
Listen, I know Matt's tasting beer, and Dunkin' Pumpkin is not it.
Shoot. Okay.
But the other one, I know the other one has dock roast, Matt. It's dock roast coffee in it.
Oh, it's got coffee in it. All right, that might be all right. I'll stay awake. It's got 6% alcohol too, so
Right,
you know.
you'll stay awake long enough to realize how much you didn't like it.
So it's gonna be a good night.
I love it.
Nice.
What do you got, Mick?
So my beer, actually, I've had the other two flavors on my craft beer and baseball show, and it went over so well that I am bringing it to our show. It is from Artisanal Brew Works. My girlfriend got
Sourhead.
the
my
Warheads Extreme Sour Watermelon, and I think we have a little addition tonight to this.
Oh,
But this,
we'll see.
but but yeah, this is I definitely wanted to bring this because I missed this. I missed the Warheads movement. I was more of a nerds guy. So
you missed tricking people into thinking that they were the jawbreakers.
Oh,
my mom hated that, but mom, it's just a yellow jawbreaker.
Yeah, you know,
try it.
It's not going to hurt you right behind your jaw.
Yeah.
It's a good thing you took that can down because the way the light was hitting it, you could only see the last 4 letters in.
Oh, really? There you go.
Look.
Extreme sour.
That the last 4. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so this is actually out of New York. So so my girlfriend found it at Total Wine, so I'm super thankful for it. But everybody's been going bonkers for it, and you got something else there, Paul, don't you?
Well, in the spirit of the season, we want to make sure that we're all safe for the upcoming holiday because we'll be getting in gatherings, and we do like to follow the rules. So tonight, all of us will be taking our booster shot. Just to be safe. So
not a shot fan, by the way.
Well, let's wait.
No,
oh, Matt, you're gonna fill that whole Das Boot up?
Well, the part that sure.
Tonight, Matt will be carving from the back of his eyelids.
So keep it up there because I don't have anything alcoholic, but I do have a Warheads Extreme Sour, which I will be boosting my sour beer.
Is that gonna be like Alka-Seltzer in a seagull's stomach? Is it?
It might be. It might be.
There's only one way to find out. So,
cheers, everybody.
Cheers, cilantro.
Cheers to our creations, and cheers to everybody. Thank you for being here. And wow,
hamana.
Good.
I was ready for that.
Safer already.
Here we go. Here's the Warhead going down.
Swallow it without putting it. Just put it right down the throat. Oh,
you're doing.
If that starts fizzing, I'm gonna laugh beyond comparison to anything I've ever done.
I can't do the show with a lodging in my mouth, but
do you need a Tums? Because that just reads like instant heartburn.
Yeah, you need a Heimlich. A Heimlich maneuver might be better.
The drill is any minute now.
It'll be my last show.
Yeah.
Last anything. What?
I mean, how are you doing this without your face muscles cramping? That's impressive.
Oh, he's taking it out, everybody.
Oh.
He can't. There he goes.
Okay.
Nice job, Nick.
Thank you.
All right. So this is going to be interesting.
All right. So what is the thing again?
Suspicious.
That is tough to even say.
Yeah, suspicious.
Right.
I'm not as high tech as you guys, so I won't have a handy dandy.
We'll check in on you. Don't worry. We'll check in.
Sure.
Okay. Let's try this guy, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Melissa says there's a medic in the other room. Perfect.
It is a 9.9.
Yikes.
Does it taste every bit of it?
It's not bad. It's pretty smooth. This is actually really this is really good. Mick, have you tried this one? I
have, and it's actually pretty readily available. Oh, that's right, because you're in San Diego, so I'm in Los Angeles. So yeah, I've seen it a lot, and it's actually you don't find it on tap too much, but you find it in cans. But yeah, I love that one, and they have other ones as well that I've always wanted to try, but I can't find them anywhere.
By that same brewery.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something about carving a pumpkin with a nice cold beer.
Yes, Monique, that's right out of our. You're one of us. I mean,
you're cut from the same cloth.
I belong.
We call it our carving oil, right? You can't carve without your carving oil.
That is our carving oil, and an IPA in this case stands for inebriated pumpkin artist.
You can't even say it.
I like it. Oh my God, that's a shirt potential.
It is a shirt. It's in the making right now. So if I find anybody else that makes it, I will find you and kill you.
And I will help
this shit anymore. Taking our ideas and
intellectual property.
Yeah,
we already trademarked it and did something else with it, I think.
Yeah, but the other thing isn't allowed in certain states, so we don't talk about it.
But see, you know a good idea too when you hear it. So I see another thing. You're cut from our cloth.
I love it. I like the wine too. You know, like it just depends. It depends on the mood. I think it depends on what you're carving to fit the beverage.
Monique, do you listen to music when you carve? I like to ask that to people.
I do.
What do you does that also depend on what you're carving? I mean, are you like, what do you, or do you have like a staple? Like I got to go listen to my hard rock or my hardcore hillbilly country rap.
So I listen to movie scores. I like.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah. I really like the non-lyrical movie scores, and I was in band for a long time with the saxophone. We talked about that earlier, but we did a lot of different movie scores, and it kind of makes you feel like you're in an adventure. You know what I mean? Like,
cool. Yeah.
Music builds up, and it's relaxing, so it's therapeutic for me. So usually I'll go into like a movie score mood. For like Johnny Cash, I'm a big fan of.
Nice.
It all depends, but primarily movie scores.
That's cool. I don't think I've ever heard that before, but I love it. I'll tell you something fun to do, and you could do this because you have probably a whole lot of them. We do this routinely anytime I go to a car wash, and you know what? Lately, they're all the ones that have all those crazy colors and lights, and they try to make it like fun when you drive through, or you stay in the car and it kind of moves you along. Put on like right when the orcs are coming or something from Avengers or something like that, and then just crank it as loud as you can and just sit back and just kind of see if it somehow and again, completely no chemicals in my body at this point because I'm driving.
I love it.
But it like is so fun to like, you know, have it like be here come the rollers and then now it's purple and there's lights. It's like so fun. So
yeah, your heart, you have to like check your heart rate, making sure it's good. I sometimes I'll listen to it snowboarding as well. And that's like an adventure, you know what I mean? Like the music builds up and you see this jump, you know, leering in the distance, and you're like, okay, let's do it. You know, and the music kind of builds you up. So, I mean, it's fun. You can do it while driving, car wash. It makes anything like a quest. It's funny that we're doing fantasy because it'll make anything you're doing. You could be cooking dinner and you're on a freaking quest now. So, yeah, I love it.
Love it.
I do listen to music when I snowboard. That's one of the few times I like to listen to music when doing stuff like that. I'll go right for Metallica. Something that
you gotta go hard.
I'm gonna keep my heart rate up so I'm not lackadaisical and blow on a knee.
See, but then it's like, do you ever get a little too overzealous because you're pumped up and you're like, yes?
Yeah, and then I come right back to earth while I'm catching my breath. Once I knock the wind out of me.
Right now.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Then
I go right over to Barbra Streisand, and it all equals out.
Put a little Enya. You just kind of edge each one off and go Enya Metallica. And
yeah, right. Blue diamonds, Enya. Double black diamonds, Metallica.
I love it. And then back to the lodge for a beverage. We'll usually, like our group of us, will find a spot on the mountain and we create a beer garden. So we'll pack them in the backpacks, and you know, you put them in miscellaneous places in your snow clothes, and then you find a secluded place on the mountain because a lot of us like to do the backcountry side. So we'll find like a glorious tree, and we'll put them there, and then we'll make that our run, and we'll stop at the beer garden as we go. So that's like our thing. Yeah.
Hey, it's Brandy.
Oh, Brandy.
My favorite. Hi, hey girl.
She's the best.
Brandy's awesome. We first met when we were going to the Outrageous Pumpkin show, and we met in the airport, and it was just like instant chemistry, you know. So she's like my carving soulmate. I love going to shows with her. She's so talented. Have you guys seen her feathers? Her
yes.
feathers?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
One of my favorites.
Oh my gosh. Big fan.
Yeah. Yeah, I am blown away by her talent. She's one of those people that like it seems effortless because she's so smooth at everything she does, and like all of a sudden she'll crank out this like the Aladdin's lamp and the Indian she just recently did, just mind-blowing stuff, and she's just kind of like, oh, I mean, to me it looks like so effortless where I'm like sweating and toiling. She seems like it's like, let me just go ahead and do this one now. Another masterpiece.
Very calm, cool, collected.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah, she and I went to, we got invited out by Willie, kind of like a Outrageous Pumpkins reunion over in Grand Junction, Colorado. So we went, and it wasn't our particular style, but Willie makes these incredible sculptures. So he'll use wood, and he'll use chicken wire and all sorts of things. And the guy moves so fast, it's blur, and like, there goes Willie. And then he puts this together, and then he takes chunks of pumpkin and they put it around the chicken wires, and then there's the lights that go underneath. So at night it just lightens up, and it's really incredible, So we went over there, and we did. I mean, there was probably about 8 or 9 people just from like Colorado. We had guys from the East Coast, David Smith, Danny Kissel, Griffin, Ramsey, like everyone came.
Oh yeah.
And we just went crazy. Dang, Paul's already getting. Okay, hold on. I feel like I'm behind.
What happened?
Was this?
Oh yeah. Yes.
Oh, cool.
So we found the base pumpkin, and that thing, it was massive. That was probably about a 70-pound pumpkin on the bottom.
Oh, that's a gorgeous.
And it was beautiful. It was long, and the stem was thick. And we were so pressed for time. We were like, man, we need to use this for something cool. And what I love about being with a bunch of creative people is it's kind of like, I call it like an idea orgy. So I'll have an idea, someone will have an idea, and then we just kind of bounce off ideas with each other. So looking at this thing, and we had maybe 30 minutes before the event started. So I was thinking, I'm like, let's just make this into a monster. And I said, Brandy, like, could you do like a little creature? And maybe we could have, this thing crawling out. And Brandy and I just kept going back and forth. So she busted out that cute little face within like 30 minutes, and then, and she's so humble. She's like, oh, I could, it's like, Brandy, this is incredible. And then I just stuck a bunch of teeth in there, and it ended up working out really, really well. It was in an area of the botanical garden. It was like a graveyard type situation. So it was just kind of in the middle, and it turned out so cool. And I think they may have raffled it off at the end, but really happy with that, how that turned out. And that's such an easy carve to do too. Like for people who don't necessarily feel like spending 6-7 hours on pumpkins, like we don't have a problem doing, you cut the hole in. I'll use a vegetable peeler to kind of smooth out those lip edges, and then use the rest of the pumpkin to create those teeth, and just stick them in. And it's like a little house of horrors, little shop of horrors pumpkin mouth. And then you dye the guts with the fake blood you can get at Walmart, and then boom, so we stuck him in the tree in the back, and it's just like a fun little quick carve.
Yeah, it's great. I agree. That look is with the teeth, and it does have that little shop of horrors, the Audrey 2 look. It doesn't need eyes. It doesn't need a nose. All it needs is a mouth and gnarly teeth, and you're like, I don't want to go near it. Yeah.
Yeah, and the kids, you all the little kids, ew, and it's fun. And if you have another pumpkin, you can make like the tongue coming out. So it's pretty versatile. And then, building little characters that are going inside is always a fun idea too. But moral of the story, Brandy's awesome. So love her.
It always comes back to Brandy is awesome. I agree. I back you up. I don't like your attitude, Brandy.
I guess I can take that. I'll take it tonight. But that's otherwise very offensive.
Right.
Well, you can identify as whatever you want to be nowadays. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Identify as the coolest carver to Brandy.
That's it. That's how I identify.
But that was a lot of fun. The Outrageous Pumpkin Show. That was pretty interesting too. I love the idea of it concentrating on all of the carvers instead of having like the cake and the sugar elements.
Yeah.
But I'm from Southern California, and Paul's probably gonna laugh at me. And it was so cold, because we're in New York, and there was a couple episodes where it was raining, and then one episode in particular where it was snowing while we were carving these pumpkins. And, it's fun to joke about it now, but the pumpkins were freezing as we carved it. So it was just breaking off. And I was miserable. I was putting hand warmers in places that you shouldn't. And I would look like I was in a parka, and the crew members were like, Monique, when you see your face, I'm like, I don't care. Like I'm carving in my 9 layers. That's it. Like I'm just going to put something up and, send me back home.
You look cold there. You look pretty cold there. Yeah.
I was freezing. And that was one of the warmer days. I don't think we don't have any photos from the snowing event because they had to build kind of like a gazebo around us and block the wind and snow. But that was a cold one. That was probably like a 30 degree, 28 degree day, which when you're carving around wet elements, your hands freeze. And as you guys know, I mean, we could use the rubber gloves and the mittens and all that. But like when your hands are just not willing to work, it presents a whole slew of issues you're not really ready to tackle during a competition.
Not at all. No, and you thought I was going to make fun of you. You snowboard. Like, you understand cold. So if you're cold, it's really cold.
Yeah.
Like, you're used to that. So listen, I wear shorts in January, but not for long periods of time outside. That's about it. I don't like the cold all that much either. It's sort of like the same difference in Southern California and Boston. It's in the summertime, you guys stay inside in the AC, and in the wintertime, we stay inside with the heat. That's basically the difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Matt lives on the surface of the sun, so he definitely knows.
Well, Matt and I both grew up in Arizona, so I legitimately never saw snow until my 20s.
That's craziness.
But the first thing that I learned was when you're in something that's cold like that, the thing that you want to avoid is getting wet.
Sure. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true.
That's that first lesson I ever heard about snow is don't get wet, because if you get wet, then you get super cold quicker.
Yep.
Yeah. If you warm up, you drop a layer. You should always try and stay at that balancing act of I might be cold, but every time you feel warm, you're in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you should just keep moving. Like, we did a trip into Franconia Notch, and it was an overnight trip. And I'm not like an overnight hike kind of guy, but hey, I'll man up, I'll do it. And it was minus 17 air temperature when we got to the base of the mountain.
Jesus.
Yeah, good times. Good times. Good times. Snowshoes, backpack taller than me. Yeah, I was so happy I signed up for it.
Yeah, good job.
Yeah, it was a good experience.
Yeah, hard pass.
But the stories, you have the story now, Paul. So
Yeah, they said I'd have that God moment, like, oh, and I did. It was when we got back to the car at the end.
Yeah, I mean, you have permanent, hypothermia now, but everything's fine.
Yeah, you lost a couple toes. Yeah,
I literally couldn't feel my big toes for 3 months. There was nerve damage.
Ugh.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Frostbite might be an interesting carving concept. Frostbite.
We could get paint involved then, right?
Get him all black. Paint the end of his nose black and have it look like one of those Mount Everest hikers that didn't do well. Yeah.
R.I.P.
Or we carve outside on location in Alaska with no gloves on.
Yeah, naked.
I'm out.
But there'll be a sticker pack at the end for some.
Oh, now we're talking.
You can't imagine what people will do for those sticker packs.
I still have to send one out.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
I still have to. I just got home. So.
What would you do for a pumpkin carving sticker pack? In the comments.
You'd be surprised with we get some crazy requests.
Wasn't that a campaign for Klondike bars? What would you do?
A question for Monique.
There you go.
So if you look at and I guess everybody here knows a little bit about Monique because she's been on TV and that kind of thing. She's pretty damn well known in the pumpkin world. But you're so much more. You're kind of the adventure girl. When I look at you, and I hope that's not a bad term. I've seen you jumping out of planes. I've seen you snowboarding. I've seen you, shooting some pretty badass guns and like hunting and doing all kinds of really cool outdoor stuff and hiking. Then on top of that, you have the ability to draw and sculpt and kind of have an artist side. Do you have also a left brain? Are you like also a mathematician? You kind of have like you got a pretty full. I mean, anyway, I'm just enamored by the fact that you have so many other hobbies and stuff, and then you can still sculpt the hell of a pumpkin.
Thank you. I'm flattered right now. As for math wise, I mean, like one beer plus one beer equals a good time. That's pretty much the extent I go.
Okay, all right. So he does have a flaw, everybody. That's all I'm trying to find out. She's got one flaw.
It wasn't my favorite subject. Like, I mean, I passed, which was great. And it's interesting because I'm from a family full of engineers.
Oh,
like, my
wow.
dad is a geologist, civil engineer. My older brother is a civil engineer, and my younger brother is going to school for environmental engineering.
Wow.
And then I'm over here carving pumpkins and doing fun stuff. So
and living a good life.
My parents were coming to terms. They were like, you know what? As long as she's happy and not like doing drugs and stuff, like we're good. Like we'll just let her do her thing, and
That's perfect. That's what you want. You live in
That's so cool.
Yeah, I was the middle child, so I don't know if that says anything. I don't know if there's any like psychologists tuning in and be like, oh, that makes sense. She's the middle child, but
I'm a middle child. I kind of get that. Yeah.
Yeah. See, it makes sense. You know what I mean? What about you guys, Paul, Mick? Are you guys?
I'm first child.
First child
in the pecking order.
Yeah.
I'm first child.
Yeah.
First child.
You guys suck.
Matt and I know. We know it. Yeah.
So first childs are awesome, and they always kind of get the breaks, and you can't do any wrong.
Oh yeah. I've had every break you can get.
Yeah, see what I mean?
They don't understand the hardships, Mick. You know what I mean? They don't think it's easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we get to fail first.
Yeah,
exactly.
True.
Yeah. But like then we have to try to keep our parents entertained, because the first ones are like, off doing great things, and then now the second one comes along. Oh yeah, you okay? We like the third one already now more because that's our baby.
Right.
That's how that's kind of how it was in my house. So I had to be the entertainer.
The third one's smart. Okay.
See, thank you, Cowboy Jack. See, hey, he feels us. All right.
The third one's smart because they're like, okay, child one did this, check. Child two did this, and they pick up all the common denominators, and then they just know how to either avoid it, how to hide it better, or not do it. So
Jesus, Mick, are you sick of hearing the middle child syndrome?
Hey, it's real. The struggle is real, Paul. Calm down.
The struggle is real. You guys should start a club. Unfortunately, nobody wants to hear it.
Except other middle children, and we will thrive. So
right, well, exactly.
Yeah.
Clearly the coolest people. So I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, obviously.
The funniest. We're obviously the funniest.
Obviously.
So there's that.
Good point. Good point.
Most creative.
Right.
But my family's always been really supportive. And I think, in between like the gray hairs that I gave my parents, they've just sort of, again, like let me sort of do my thing. And San Diego, it's really easy to have a bunch of diverse hobbies. You're 20 minutes from the water, you're, an hour from the mountains, an hour from the desert. So you can go surfing and snowboarding, and then, dirt bike riding in the desert all within the same day if you're advantageous. But
and you're leaving out the craft beer scene, which is
you would inform me that section of the 805.
I think it's another freeway. It's not. I don't think it's the 805. I might have my girlfriend clarify that, but I don't think it's the 805. I think it's another freeway.
And you call it the Hops Highway.
Yeah.
I need to learn a little bit more about this, because in San Diego has this probably, if not more, breweries per square mile as Belgium. And so we're really big into the craft beer scene here. Really, really big, which makes it easy. It's a very social thing, and a lot of the breweries have great food. They're paired up with a food truck. And in San Diego, we have phenomenal food.
Yes, we do. Yeah.
Well, I hate going to other places and they're like, oh, we have this great Mexican food place. It's like, but do you? Like, do you really?
Yeah.
Like, I'll test it out, but the street tacos here are incredible. So
yeah,
agreed. Matt and I used to go to when we were teenagers to Mission Bay.
Okay, like Belmont Park and.
Yeah, we were what they called zonies back then. So back in the 80s and 90s, if you came over from Arizona, then here come they're inundating our beaches and like they're a bunch of zonies coming over.
Yeah.
And now everybody's fleeing there to come to this beautiful place called Arizona.
I was just about to say, now there's a mass exodus in California.
Right back at you, Zony people, you bastards. Anyway,
Arizona. I mean, Brandy knows.
I remember
even Idaho too. Everyone's going.
Oh
to
yeah,
Idaho.
oh yeah, Idaho.
Yeah.
Going to Idaho?
Yes.
Yes.
Wow.
And that's like Coeur d'Alene and Boise are some of the biggest. They're even going there more than they're coming to Scottsdale.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that's the problem with living in God's country. You just don't see the rest of the world. You know what I mean?
It'd be so hard to live
So
in
hard
God's
living in
country.
paradise.
Yeah, shoveling out your driveway and doing all that.
Standing on your rooftop and looking down your nose.
Yeah.
And all the peasants. Exactly.
Waving my thumb at everyone. No, listen, traffic is traffic, and I'm so sick of traffic. I don't care where I live, as long as that's gone after a while.
It's Highway 78. I knew my girlfriend would come through.
Yes, Melissa for the win. Okay.
So 60-mile stretch. That's the Hops Highway.
Interesting. So
60 miles?
that's like I guess like San Marcos area.
Maybe to Oceanside.
Yeah, Oceanside area.
Oh, okay. Kind of a little more inland. Okay.
Yeah, I've only been to a couple breweries out there, but definitely impressed. They have a little small microbrews. There's a couple places too, which is interesting, who provide all the materials to brew your own beer.
Yep.
So I don't know what they're called. I wouldn't know what that's. I mean, but you just go in and then they kind
of chicharrone.
It's, like a home brewing. There's a lot of home brewers. So
we have a place around here called Hops that you can go in and actually pick out all the ingredients and start the process, and then you go in like a month later and you pick up like 3 cases of beer that you
yeah.
Oh,
yeah, that stuff's really cool.
Super, and then you can design your own logo.
Yep.
One of my good friends did that, and then he had a tasting. So we invited all of his friends over, and he printed out a whole sheet, 1 to 10, what your thoughts are, and then each beer, and then he served it. I think he had 10 beers that he homebrewed. It was actually pretty cool.
That is awesome.
So.
Yeah, a lot of people have asked me if because I do this other craft beer show, but now we're totally into craft beer here, which has been a great aspect of this show.
Yes, love it.
Yeah,
but a lot of people have asked me like, "Oh, have you ever thought about brewing your own beer?" And actually, Jody and Mike Moss, who were like my bosses when I was first in Arizona, they're super awesome. They do their own home brewing, and it's always been something that I'm like. It's the same thing as sushi. Like I can make my own sushi, but I'm like, why not pay the money to go have the best sushi at all these great places, right? But now I'm kind of thinking about it. I'm just like, it would be really awesome because it's chefs and people who make craft beer. They're all artists. It's super cool, and you can have all these different flavors and different complexities. It's really exciting, and it's kind of changed my mind a little bit about it.
Well, and I think you can appreciate it a little bit more when you see how much work and effort goes into making something like that. And, and a tiny little microdose of a different ingredient will make a different flavor. And it can be really frustrating, especially being an artist and working so hard on a whole batch and then have it ruined by one little thing. So I think it's like the appreciation behind it, or it's like, oh, how did they get that flavor? And then learning. So I'd be curious to do it. I haven't done it yet.
That's a really good point, because I just found out about dry hopped beer to wet hop beer. Are you familiar with the difference?
Enlighten me.
So wet hop beer, I just had one on Tuesday. There was a wet hop beer, and I'm like, I should do my due diligence and try to find out what wet hopping is. It turns out so they'll take the hops out of the ground or whatever, and then they immediately goes into whatever they're making.
Okay.
The dry hop process is adding the hops at the end of the process, the fermentation process. So here you have these different types of things, which when I started, this can get super nerdy, and they actually teach a class. There's a El Segundo Brewing out here. the people that run that, they actually do a class out here that you can actually, get credit for, and get a degree in brewing.
Yes.
And they say most people cannot do the chemistry part of brewing, and it's super complex.
Yeah.
So, but that's probably where I'll flunk out. But it's again, it seems like a neat challenge.
You can always be a taster, Mickey.
Yeah. Well, I thought about that too. I'll be the Anthony Bourdain. I'll just sample everything from around the world.
There's got to be a show. I would imagine there has to be some beer show, right?
Yeah,
there's a lot of them. Yeah.
It's called Carvers and Creators.
Yeah, exactly. Just join us each week, and you're kind of set.
Yeah.
You learn a lot. You learn a lot about beer from me, because I kind of have the corner of the market on all these stuff.
We know what not to make.
Yes.
How is the Dunkin's donut beer, by the way? Are you regretting your choice?
I opened both of them because the first one was, not my favorite, and then the second one's not my favorite. So I got that. I have water.
I don't think you like beer.
Every show that I watch, I feel like that's a consistency for. I think I have pumpkin in my hair for Matt, because he'll either have an IPA, which he doesn't like, or some other beer, and he's like meh. Like I don't think I've seen an episode where you've actually thoroughly enjoyed your beverage.
No, I have a problem. I do have a problem. I think the only thing I enjoy on a consistent basis is like the brown water. Like, oh look, I can see my face through there.
Cheers, Jody.
That's
Jody, who I just spoke about, is going to a brewery meeting. Cheers to you. Exactly. I can't wait to see you.
Cool.
Jody.
That's awesome.
And also, my girlfriend grew me pumpkins, but now she says she's going to grow me hops. So,
Jesus, can you send her my way?
Yeah. We need to grow. I need to grow pumpkins out here.
Keepers.
Lenora found all my pumpkins this year. Like she literally went digging in the back and was like, "I found squash."
Share that, because you're the true creator now. We talked about this, right?
What's over your back wall right now, Paul?
My back wall? My disciples.
You're just
I have a whole following. I got a book coming out.
Your minions.
Rhymes with libel.
The green little friends, the green big growing wildly friends you have in the back.
Yeah, Kaboka squash is growing like crazy out in the back by the choo-choo.
That is awesome.
That's so cool.
I'm gonna create a club. I'm looking for a couple apostles. Paul's already taken, in case you're wondering. He's like a John, and I got a son named Luke. So I mean, names are really. I'm open to name.
And we got a Michael and a Matthew already, so we're cool there.
Is there a Monique in the new version?
Yeah, in our version.
I'm writing it as I go. Oh, this is gonna be amazing.
Yes.
Sweet.
Wait, I gotta ask a question to Monique. When you look at your site and you have all these motorcycle races, I think you do off-road and road racing. So how the heck did you start road racing motorcycles?
So the off-road one, I've actually only rode a dirt bike twice, and the first time that was a joke. The second time, I was invited out by my captain from work. And he just got into it, and I just kind of like messed around. And it's very different from street bikes, because your wheels are moving, you're fishtailing. It's just a very it's just a different way to ride. But I had always wanted a motorcycle, and my parents were like, absolutely. No. And like any good middle child would, I bought one anyway, and I got my motorcycle license. Started riding around on the street, went down a couple times, got hit by cars, because people out here drive like crazy. So I'd broken my clavicle once, and at that moment, my bike was kind of wrecked, and I had a really good friend. His name is Randy, and he was an avid street bike guy, and then he started going to the track. And his whole purpose is, I think, to convert street bike riders to the track, because you have this machine, and it's meant to be used in a certain way and ridden a certain way, and you simply can't do that on a normal road, daily street.
Yeah.
So I had him convert my bike. So we completely stripped out a bunch of different things. And after my clavicle was healed, I had my first track day. And it was so fun. And it was this, I went to Chuckwalla, which is, maybe if you're familiar with it, it's east of Palm Desert. It's out there. There's like an old prison out there and stuff, and you have to drive through the desert. And there's a track out there, and it's so much fun. And it's technical, and the turns, and so there's so much that goes into it, so much concentration. And you have to learn how to utilize the bike, your body positioning. There's places of the track that you have to position yourself to have optimal speed, right? And so you talk about like the apex of a turn, and so you have to study. You have to study the track. You have to study the bike. And I fell in love with it. And I was able to ride and go as quickly as I could without having to worry about cars pulling out in front of you, gravel, oil, the whole gamut. And you're wearing full leather suits. So, you're protected. And if you go down, like a lot of riders get hurt because they slide into something. You slide into a guardrail, you slide into another car, you slide into a tree, whatever it is. And this, you sort of slide on the ground, if you go down. So it's in a way safer, but you get to utilize this machine the way it's meant to be used. So I fell in love, and I think I've been riding at the track for, I want to say like maybe 4 years.
Wow. Okay.
Kind of off and on. There were some updates, but so I've been to Chuckwalla. I've been to, there's a track in Vegas that's really fun too. And it's flat, which provides a whole different, set of issues, because when there's a natural, curve in the track, you kind of use that. There's some, physics terms like cylindrical force or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And it propels you out of the turn. This is completely flat. So you're relying on a lot of your skill set. I mean, and it's just fun. You get to meet a bunch of different people, kind of just like the pumpkin carving world. Everyone has a different hobby, right? Everyone, finds motorcycles through different means. Mm-hmm. And it's fun. People bring Harleys out to the track too. So you'll have, these road kings, just getting it. These guys haul ass. So it's really fun. It's a great community of people. And you can always learn something, which is really, it's important for me with whatever hobby that I have is, you're always a student, but you can always get better. You can always challenge yourself. So I've sought out a lot of different, professional, street bike riders to just help out. And it's so much fun. So this is the season, like right after pumpkin carving, it kind of goes into like snowboarding and then track season. So it's like my other prime. Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's super fun. I have a pumpkin motorcycle helmet that I absolutely rep every October when I can.
Yeah.
Just to represent, us little people in the carving committee.
Yeah.
But it's fun.
I don't want to one up you because I know you're a badass motorcycle rider and I don't ride motorcycles, but I have a pumpkin helmet that I wear at golf in October, as a matter of fact.
Prove it.
Pretty comparable.
It is pretty nice. I've seen it.
Do you have pictures?
Yes, of course I have pictures. It only gets pulled out if you 3-putt. It's sort of a
it's actually a helmet of shame.
It's the helmet of shame. Yes, it's the well, I can't say the word because there's kids, but it's got a name. Okay.
I know we didn't give our disclaimer.
You did put out a disclaimer. I am having.
That was awesome. I was crying. That was so funny.
I'll find mine. I don't. I know you're badass, and I don't even know how to shift gears on a motorcycle. But
1 up, 4 down, something like that.
Yeah.
I would do the opposite. Let me see. Don't zoom in on me while I'm looking. Give me a minute.
Mickey, come on.
Jesus, Mickey, act like you've been here.
I thought you had it at your. I thought you had it ready to go.
Dude, I have like 11,000 photos in my phone. All right, I got it.
That's not my fault.
10,000 of them are pumpkins. So.
There we go.
Yeah, exactly.
There it is.
Oh. My gosh, that's awesome.
It's hot as hell. I don't know if your helmet is as hot, but
that is so great.
Yeah.
The only difference is I don't break my clavicle.
Yeah.
You are playing a dangerous game and you are a badass.
Yeah.
You are a badass. If only you played saxophone, you could only be more of a badass if you played saxophone.
Yeah, that'd be the top right there.
That's the only way to top it is if you actually played saxophone too.
Do I have to be good at it? Because I can play it,
But like the guy in St. Elmo's Fire, the way that you
got the chain.
Oh,
no, that was Rob Lowe. That was Rob Lowe.
Yeah. He was in Lost Boys too.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm at that level, but after some pretty significant band camps.
Whoa!
Oh,
whoa!
Yeah, band camp was fun. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. It was a good time.
And you were on Outrageous Pumpkins with Allison Hannigan,
who was also
band camp very popular.
I'm so mad I didn't make that connection. I'm so mad.
That could have been the best moment or the most awkward moment of your life.
You have to imagine she's probably really sick of hearing that.
Oh
right?
my God!
Sure.
Yeah.
But you're not really sick of saying
Someone
it.
said band camp for me one more freaking time. I didn't want to be like that. I didn't want to trigger it. I didn't want to. She'd be like that freaking pumpkin carver from California. Like I didn't want to be that person. I don't want to.
Yeah, you did. You did. A little bit of you did want to be that person.
I did, but I wanted to be invited back, and she'd be like, "No,
that's
not
good.
her."
All right. See, I like where your head's at. You're always thinking forward. That's a good thing.
You have to.
That's the motorcycle rider in you. That's the.
Yeah.
Is it what do you call it?
You got to look around every corner, right?
Yeah, but it's fun. I miss riding in the street. There's so many beautiful areas in San Diego that you can ride through, but I feel like I like my clavicles, and
you need them. Yeah.
I was in a sling for a long time. I think I was in a sling, and I was actually prepping for. I used to do bodybuilding competitions, funny enough, and I was prepping for a national level competition in Las Vegas. And so I was like 8 weeks out from this competition, broke my freaking clavicle, and I didn't know I broke it until about 3 days later. So it was a funny story. Not funny, but it was funny. I'm going around this corner, getting off the freeway, and it's this really beautiful turn. And I have done it, hundreds of times. And I'm going, and my boyfriend was driving right behind me. And they had left. They were building kind of a wall, like a center median in that area, and they had left some gravel out. So I'm all the way in this turn, and then the gravel hits. So my bike wipes out. Yep. I go down. I roll so many times I couldn't even get up.
Wow.
He pulled over and drugged me out of the freeway exit. So can't say saved my life, because then that would be such an ego boost, but saved my life, right? And saved my life. I'm getting some over here in the gallery, but saved my life. And then my first thing was we got to get my bike to the shop. Yeah. He's like, we need to go to the freaking hospital. I was like, we need to get my bike to the shop. So put it in the back of the truck, took the bike to the shop, had that taken care of, and then went home. Scraped the gravel out of my flesh, which was more than anything else. I didn't know this thing was broken. Moved around. I'm like, okay, maybe I tore a muscle, whatever it is. Then 3 days later, went to the hospital just to figure out if it was a stretch or a tear. And they're like, yeah, you broke your clavicle. So here's your sign. I'm like, damn it, this is it.
Nice. Yeah. They usually sit in the right place too if you avoid it for 3 days.
Yeah.
Snap right back into where it's supposed to go.
No surgery. That was great. No surgery. But
fantastic.
Yeah. So fun story.
Nice. Wow. Did your boyfriend ever fess up to putting the sand off the exit so he could look like a hero?
No, we're still
that would be a badass move.
That is like evil genius type of thing.
Shit, right?
Yeah, he's flexing the whole time doing it.
Yeah.
And telling everyone, I saved her life. And
my God.
You have to make dinner because I saved your life.
How can I make her indebted to me for life?
Why do I have to do the dishes? You'd be dead if it wasn't for me.
Yeah.
Smart guy. I like him already. He gets it.
Heard it all. So.
Now, did you do your competition?
No, I didn't. No, I stopped. Rightfully so, because those things are pretty crazy too.
Yeah, they are.
And very unhealthy, for the record. But I learned a lot. It was a good experience. I did it for maybe 2 years. I think I did 5 competitions. So I did 3 regional shows, all natural, by the way. No arson, I know. All natural. And
that was arson calling bullshit, by the way.
He thinks you all loaded up.
Come
He
here.
thinks he did that. He thinks he did some horse steroids or something.
Yeah,
He's like,
protein.
Yeah, right.
No. Yeah, 3 regional shows and then 2 national shows. My last one I did was in Miami. I mean, it's fun. It's a crazy industry, but I'll never do it again. But it was fun.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, but it's awesome. Like all these, you're experiencing everything, right?
yeah, exactly.
A lot of stuff that it's extreme sports, really. I mean, Jesus, you're like the non-green version of She-Hulk.
Exactly.
Like, is there anything you can't do?
I'm wearing
Here
green.
you are with
I'm transforming as we speak. I'm wearing green.
Jesus, like everything I say is like she just becomes it. It's amazing.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can't do.
I'm just gonna
Exactly.
explode.
You're actually kind of you emasculate me. I feel like I had a lot of manly hobbies. And then
Just by her presence.
right, and then she starts
Greatest
talking about,
comment.
I have nothing but carving a pumpkin. He's like carving
What
a
a
pumpkin on
compliment.
the back of a snowboard while riding on top of a motorcycle while lifting weights and shit.
Oh, don't forget about skydiving, Paul. Paul, she skydives. So
You really? Cut the shit. There's not enough. No, you know what I'm calling? There's not enough hours in the day. Nobody has this many
hey,
good hobbies.
Monique, did you skydive? Did you skydive out of Brownfield down at Otay Mesa, or where did you go?
So Otay, over in Chula Vista, what is it? What is there?
That's where I did like 3 times out of a plane, and I at the time I had kind of a little bit of a death wish, but that was like years ago. And but it was so fun. It was really fun. And I'll give you a fun little story. So you know how you normally go tandem your first time?
Yeah.
Well, I'm 6'6", and I think if I had hooked the guy to my back, I'd be walking like he's on a baby Bjorn on my back.
When you hit the ground,
they're like, no, we can't. And the suit, the biggest suit they had, still was like a winter suit. I mean, a spring suit. It looked like it came to here on my arms and my legs. It was up to my calf. So I looked like baby Huey, jumping out of a plane. But the best part was because I was so big, they had a guy on each side of me instead for my first jump.
Wow.
And it was like
You had like training wheels.
You had like
exactly. So I jumped by myself the first time, and I was like, "This is easy." I
got Eiffel Towered in this tandem jump.
I got in the air Eiffel Tower, 12,000, 15,000.
That's amazing.
That's right.
Is there a video of this? Can we share?
There is.
Wow.
Anywhere near me, thank God. But there is a horrible video of this.
There's a different definition of Eiffel Tower too. Just so you know, you might not want to reference that.
Well, I won't. Yeah, for the kids, I'll stay away from that one. But other than that,
I mean, it's a skydiving term. It's a professional.
Oh, okay.
Skydiving.
Oh, thank
Totally.
you, thank you.
Totally.
I missed that class.
For those wondering, yeah, Google it, but it's a professional term.
I think that was on my 4th. That was supposed to be my 4th jump, and I missed that class, so I only did 3.
Yeah, professional.
Even when I went scuba diving, they gave you like an instructional course. You didn't take it skydiving? Wow.
Scuba diver? Who's a scuba diver here?
I went once.
Did you scuba dive too?
No, I don't.
I got a fish tank.
I'm not
That's close.
I love the fish tank. I'm for that.
Scuba diving was amazing. It was actually a lot of fun.
Where did you go?
Cancun, Mexico.
Oh.
Yeah, it was great. It was a lot of fun.
I've snorkeled.
Yeah, Well, aren't you a wrestler too? I saw an episode where we talked about.
Oh, it comes back again.
It's funny because I didn't want to upstage because because the bodybuilders get into wrestling too. So
because they know how to cut weight in like crazy ways. Like let's just wear a trash bag and then run a marathon and then not drink water for 5 weeks. It's really great.
I never had to cut weight, but I've wrestled around the world.
That is so freaking cool.
Disco machine.
And I've wrestled in San Diego before. Yeah.
I've never wrestled in San Diego, Mickey. That's crazy.
I mean, you can if you're a flight away,
Yeah, exactly.
That is
really, like a park.
How many years did you do that professionally?
I did it from 98 to 2011.
All right, Mickey, you got to show her. You know the routine. Cowboy Jack's right.
My superhero identity.
In my
Cowboy Jackson,
about as manly as you could get. All right.
I gotta see this.
I was manly.
Okay. All right.
How do you guys carve during it? I'm like so engaged in this conversation. I'm like, I barely even.
Well, this is what we do. We basically tease each other into tears and carve at the same time without missing a beat.
Right.
Yeah, why am I not on here every week? This is great.
You
That's
can be
my-
on
that's my-
whenever you
that's-
want.
Yeah, you're
Actually, I have a
you're
feeling you
new-
got other hobbies that will pull you away from being here.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have the time to be on every week.
I know.
I'll tune in while I'm snowboarding. How about that?
There we go. That's
I'll
all
carve
we got.
some snow. I'll carve a snowman, and we'll bring it in. Okay, let's see.
There you go.
Oh, there's Mickey.
The
Look at
tidy.
that handsome bastard. Look at him.
It's the tidy whiteys.
There it is. I want to see the one with the red when you're doing the pose.
Yeah, the red with the pose.
Red with the
Mickey. There you
pose
go.
is my favorite.
Yeah, that's
do you
in
call
Germany.
it?
That's in Germany.
Damn.
Wow, it's like the blue steel, but that's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, this was.
Wait,
Wait, is that a midget?
is that a midget?
Yeah.
Whoa,
I-
guys.
Hey,
wait
that's
for
my
a
tag
second.
team partner. Don't call him a midget.
LP. Sorry.
So I went to, and they call it, it's midget wrestling, and they have it in Ramona
Yeah. Uh-huh.
every year, or every year. And we went as a group recently, and it was so funny.
Yep.
And the stuff that they were saying, will resonate with me for the rest of my life. But I mean, I've never been to like a wrestling. Look at that.
That's it. That's in Japan, and
Oh my
Mickey.
god.
Mick,
Do
you're
you
like
have,
the
like, do you have
sleeper
the belt?
celebrity of this show.
Do you have the
yeah. I bought it from JCPenney. That's a
Whoa.
Mr. Miyagi.
Bing
That's from Karate Kid.
JC.
I've had a belt before. Yeah, I won a belt.
So is that the thing? You get the belt. Look at that guy. Were you like?
There's a guy named Super Porky. Yeah, he just died recently. So
Oh no.
I think I'm literally older than him in this picture, and he looks about 70 years
Oh
old.
my God.
And the best is, look right here, his wrist guards are actually duct tape. It's amazing.
No wonder he died.
He resembles an
I
egg
love
with
that
legs.
for him. Yes.
The guy's a super legend. This guy's in WWE. So I wrestle a lot of guys that were in WWE and stuff like that. So this guy's in WWE, Kevin Steen.
So did you wrestle in high school? How did this start?
You know what? The funny thing is, I was a soccer and baseball player in I never wrestled once, but I always wanted to do it. I actually always wanted to wrestle the guys that were on the wrestling team, and they would never wrestle me. And I was like, but it took me. I played soccer until I was 26, and then I moved to Los Angeles and I started wrestling when I was actually 27. Actually, late in the game. Actually, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you did that until 2011.
Yeah,
He only quit wrestling to start this show.
We pulled him out.
You've made it. You've made it.
It was like the Intercontinental Belt or Carvers and Creators.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
Yeah. So I mean, actually, I talk about wrestling, my actually artistic ability and stuff. I used to do DVD covers and T-shirts and websites, and that's what I was doing anyway. It was like my currency.
Party flyers. Yeah.
Well, exactly. I mean, that was all for beer money, but but yeah, it's it's been a fun adventure. It's definitely I always say I lived a life that no travel agent could ever arrange. So it's
Sure.
I got to do a whole bunch of
where's the I'm sure you've had some interesting experiences,
Mhm.
To say the least. So with keeping it PG,
Yeah.
what are the top 3 weirdest wrestling situations you've been in?
Oh, I can name that easily.
He's got them ready. As a matter of fact, I've got pictures ready.
You mentioned,
Okay.
yeah.
So top 3. So I'll say, well, the picture that you saw was actually the one from Japan. That's a place called Korakuen Hall, and it's just outside the Tokyo Dome.
Okay.
In Tokyo. So the Tokyo Dome is where the Tokyo Giants play, and it's
Sumo?
it's a huge. No, it's not a sumo venue. There's actually one called Sumo Hall, but it's one of those places where it's if there's a big event, it'll be in the Tokyo Dome. Well, the Korakuen Hall is literally right next to it, and to wrestle there is like every American wrestler wants to wrestle in Japan and wrestle at Korakuen Hall.
Why?
So because it's one of those places. If
Dollar beer night.
Okay, right. Perfect.
Awesome.
So if you're a wrestler, you just know this place. You've seen a whole bunch of really historic matches there and stuff like that. To wrestle there, it's like a dream. You don't even know how you would even do it, how you would have the connections to do it. And then all of a sudden, like I remember like this was in 2005, and I hear my music coming up and I'm ready to wrestle. And where you are, you're down in the bottom and you have to go your way to the top, to the floor. And I hear my music and I take one step and I eat it. Like I fall on the stairs, but no one can see me. No one can see me. And I'm like,
you just hear like a thud. No.
And I just take a breath and I go up and I'm like, hey, I'm ready to wrestle. And like, so there's like 2,000 people in this little thing. So that was awesome.
Oh.
So the number 2 would be, I wrestled on an MTV show in 2006. It was a 1-season show on MTV called Wrestling Society X. And so I wrestled like a lot of people that are in WWE now. And it's like, there was a lot of stuff that went on that I probably couldn't tell you here on this family friendly show, but it was everything that you kind of hear about wrestling and
everything you hope and dream for.
It was crazy. It was crazy. But my number one is the most amazing. So in 2004, I wrestled in Osaka, and we wrestled on a cruise ship in Osaka Bay. So there's a ring, and it's actually on a ship, like think the Love Boat. They actually had a wrestling ring, and we actually wrestled. And I went in wrestling, like the style that I did was like really gymnastic and kind of like there's a lot of dives involved where you dive out of the ring and stuff like that. So there's a move that I do is called a mariposa, which is, it's Spanish for butterfly. And I actually jump on the ropes and I do this kind of twist out. But the ship shifted when I went for that move.
You're that powerful.
I landed on the steel, just like as if I did a flip from the ring to my back. But the great thing was it was on a ship and it didn't hurt, and I'm here to talk about it. So,
did you break any surgeries related to this? Injuries? Anything?
What I like to say is I had lacerations, chipped teeth, separated shoulder, which I still have today, and more concussions than I care to admit.
That's crazy.
So it wasn't that bad, is what you're saying?
No, all in all,
I recommend.
I lost a ton of money, but hey,
you always make more money.
But you also made money. You can make money anytime.
So bachelor, right?
Sure.
That's crazy.
Wait, Mickey, before too much of the show goes on, we only have a little less time. I want to see Monique's creation so far.
Oh,
actually, I haven't seen you carve in 5 minutes.
I think I've carved like a fraction of the time.
No. Time out. All right. First of all, get your ass in gear. Second of all, she just asked you about your top 3 craziest moments for wrestling, and you didn't ask her about her craziest moment on television.
That's what I was going to ask.
I think we would be remiss.
You've been on tons of shows. I'd love to know that.
Yep.
Okay.
Do tell.
So,
please.
The year is 2015. I don't know, maybe. I was trying to set it up. But I've always loved pumpkin carving. I didn't start sculpting until about like eight or so years ago. And then it kind of blew up. So I had all my friends were telling me, hey, enter in different contests, go on the news show. And, someone sent me like, hey, this news station is looking for carvers for a carving competition. I'm like, cool. So I'll submit my name and they call me back and I go on and it's going to be, myself and probably like 3 or 4 other carvers. And we're going to compete. We're going to have 2 hours to carve this thing. And then we're going to present it. And then the news anchors are going to vote for it. So I'm like, man, what do I carve on TV? And then I'm thinking, TV, San Diego, Anchorman, I'm going to carve Ron Burgundy.
Perfect.
So I'm stoked on this. I'm like, there's no way I'm not going to win. Like, this is hilarious, you know. Those who are Anchorman fans are going to totally get this. And they're going around interviewing, hey, what are you guys going to carve? And this thing came out of my mouth. And I didn't realize it. I mean, it was so natural. It was just like, oh, I'm going to carve blah. And then it resonated with me what actually I said. And I mean, the people who are interviewing me on the news are so witty, and they just like retort immediately. And from then on, I'm like, of course, this would happen to me. First time I'm on the news carving pumpkin. I mean, I got flooded. I was inundated with text messages from family, friends, like, what are you doing? You know, so I sent you a clip.
Yeah.
For those who want to.
Let's go to the clip.
Go to the tape. Do it live.
Ron Jeremy from Anchorman. Ron Jeremy. I'm sorry, not Ron Jeremy. Definitely not that kind of pumpkin contest. Maybe on the other side. Yeah. We are. I mean, I think that's pretty hard.
Wait, for those at home that didn't get to watch it, it's a clip so nice. Let's run it twice.
Here we go.
Good. I love this. Ron Jeremy from Anchorman. Ron Burgundy. Ron Burgundy. I'm sorry, not Ron Jeremy. Definitely not that kind of pumpkin contest. Maybe on the other side. Yeah.
See,
we are.
Where you got confused is Ron Jeremy was in a movie, but it says, "Look at my Anchorman."
There's a lot
so
of.
You might have just been confused.
Oh my God.
That is a great one.
She's like, maybe on the other side. And we just went right into it.
Yeah, let's just keep laughing here. Yeah, exactly.
There was four other pumpkin carvers there. There was like an 8-year-old, and then the other 3 are looking at me like, I couldn't believe it. And once I was done. And the rest of the day we were carving pumpkins. And one of the guys, his name's Michael. He and I will still carve, and we'll still collaborate on another kind of pumpkin contest. We'll still collaborate on pumpkins, and Halloween. So he's the biggest Halloween fan you'll ever meet. And he just started cracking up. I'm like, okay, I'm going to be friends with this guy. Someone who's going to laugh at my pretty outrageous mistake. And
I wonder if anyone's ever carved Ron Jeremy.
Maybe out of a button.
I mean, like,
we should put him on the board. That's
the next one we're doing.
Matt, didn't you meet him?
I did.
Oh yeah, Harper, did you ever meet him? The head
Did you have that photo?
I did. I actually had to boil my arm after I touched him. I gave him a little hug, and he was a soft little guy. And
did you say you gave him a hug or a hog? I could
broke up.
He gave him the hog.
Oh right.
I gave him a little squeeze. But yeah, he was not a very big guy. Yeah, oh God, Mickey.
Yeah, right.
That was at the Zombieland premiere at Grumman's Chinese Theater. I'm like, let me drop some bombs there. But for whatever reason, he was there, and I'm like, that's Ron Jeremy. And I go, can I get a picture with you, dude? And he's like, yeah. So I turn around, and then I immediately regretted it. I'm like, what am I going to do with this?
Well, here it is. It's fine, Matt, because you have your booster shot now, so everything's
right. Good point.
Everything's gonna be okay.
Mm-hmm. I should be okay. Yeah,
I'll never let him live it down.
No. That was many years ago, and I've stopped hugging felons. Like, it's my thing now, not to do that.
Yeah. Moral of the story. Yeah, we keep giving him shout outs and stuff. That was. I mean, it was a great way to start my career in pumpkin carving.
Yeah. It's a great story. And if you're one of those people that can't laugh at like your mess ups, you're never gonna be fun. Like if you can't go, oh my God, speaking of embarrassing moments, let me show you. Like, you got to be okay with it. And that's what makes it fun. It makes you like Teflon. You know what I mean? Nobody can hurt your feelings.
Honestly, I think that's one of the things
on television. Holy shit! You can't.
So Monique, that's one of the things we're endeared to you, because not only did you share that clip with us, but it's like you think it's funny too. I mean, one of the things that Paul and Mickey and I always crack up about is we're kind of unoffendable, and But then you take it to the next level and be like, oh yeah, this was really bad. It happened to me. Here's a video of it. You know, it's like that's even another level.
Oh God, yeah.
Let me relive this. In fact, we're actually going to do a rendition of it right now.
Let's do it again. Yeah,
Hilarious.
That's
Let's
so
go back
cool.
to
Well, I mean, I think life is so full of these moments, and you really, I mean, it's what you make of it. But I thought it was hilarious, and I think the funniest part about that whole night, and I got a lot of phone calls.
Oh, I bet.
And I went.
Was one of them from
I went
Roger?
over to my parents' house, and my little brother, he was cracking up. My dad was cracking up. My mom's like, "What's so funny?" My mom,
no,
the nicest lady you're gonna meet. She crap is probably the worst word she's ever said. She's from Canada, will apologize to anything, you know, and complete innocence, you know, has been one of my biggest supporters and advocates. So explaining to my mom why giving a shout out to Ron Jeremy was so funny.
Yeah.
And seeing the look of horror across her face when she realized that I knew who this atrocious
was.
You know what I mean? I think my mom's just sort of like, she doesn't ask questions anymore. You know what I mean? They don't ask, don't want to know the answer. She's very, bless her. She's very accepting of my mom. But it was one of those, it's one of those career launching moments that you don't forget. And you have to, in stuff like this, to really enjoy things, you have to be unoffendable.
Yeah.
You know, everything now, it's so easy to get offended. And it's like, well, why are you getting offended? Just don't listen to it, move on, go listen to something that's not offensive, or
don't get offended.
Yeah.
You know?
But it's also,
I honestly feel, yeah, and I feel bad for comedians nowadays, because the definition of comedy is making fun of something that's either that would normally be offensive, or kind of poking fun at stuff. And now it's nobody can do it because even comedy is offensive now. It's I get there's brands of comedy, I get it, and there's levels, but it just seems it's just sad. It's a sad state.
I think just people need to get to the point where they're like, you're not canceling me. Say whatever you want. It doesn't matter.
South Park.
Stop.
South Park signed
Yeah.
a $900 million contract again for the next few years. And I'm like, yes, because nobody is safe with South Park. Nobody is safe. You know what I mean?
As they should be. That's
what's great about comedy is, everything's funny, and they find humor and everything, but these writers are genius.
Yeah.
So South Park's been able to, they're a staple in comedy, and they've been around for years, and they're very accurate, and it's yes, and it's if you find it funny, it's funny, but they're up on the current events, so everything they do is very current, and they come out and they expedite whatever episode it is, and it's hilarious. Shot. We needed that theme song earlier.
It's also a cartoon. Family Guy is the same thing. Simpsons. They can satirize
this. You know what? I never noticed that about The Simpsons until I got older and my kids started watching it, and I was like, "Whoa!" I didn't remember them saying that. And then you go back and you're like, they've always done that.
Yeah,
good.
The Simpsons were great, and my parents, they sheltered us a lot, and I think it was we can't show them, so my older brother and I would sneak away and we watch the funny stuff and the horror movies, and maybe that's why I'm such a Halloween buff, is we lock ourselves in a small room and watch the Blair Witch Project until we ourselves, and then but it's you kind of have to just embrace this style of comedy and horror. It's just, again, you have to be unoffendable. That's slogan right there.
Unoffendable. That's right.
Unoffendable.
That's it.
That's all right.
So, Monique, I definitely wanted to showcase some of your work before. Like we said, this is the fastest 90 minutes on the internet.
First of all, Monique already said she's down to.
She's coming back. She's just coming back. That's it.
We have too much to talk about.
Accepted.
But I wanted to showcase some of your very unique work.
Nice.
And these are outstanding.
Thanks.
So tell us.
You were one of the few using paint back then too.
I really so I enjoyed, the organic matter and carving it. And I think the paint really accentuate certain things. And I think you kind of have to with certain characters. So when you're doing something like a clown or Venom, just to kind of bring it more to life, I like the paint. I know a lot of traditional pumpkin carvers, it's like sacrilege. It's like, get out of here with this kind of stuff. And I'll take pictures after carving and then after painting, and I won't paint all of them. But with these two, the clown, it was for a local news station, and they wanted to, so I had like half of it carved. I think I carved the other half on the air, and then I painted it on the air so they could kind of see the process of it. And it just looks so sinister. And I love that one because it's the creepiest clown I've ever done. Scared the crap out of my dog, so I knew it was successful.
That's
and
good.
It's just, I mean, the eyes like sort of penetrate in, and it's just really creepy. It was massive. That thing was like 75 pounds. I mean, it's
size of a car seat.
It's massive. And
it's in the car seat there. Yeah. Okay. I see that. Okay.
Actually, more impressive than the carve is the photograph that you took in a car seat of that actual thing and got all the depth. And I mean,
You got the lighting. Yeah.
the lighting's perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, we try so hard to take pictures. Like that's a whole nother side of this whole art.
Yeah.
Oh, it's huge.
And I was transporting it to, I brought it to a police station that creates a haunted house for kids every Halloween. And I was like, oh, I got to take a picture of this real quick. And I just kind of like went over, took a picture. And then I was stoked with the result.
That's the result of the picture you just ran over to take.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was like,
Want to run over to my house and take pictures of my pumpkins, please?
Yeah, I know.
It takes me an hour to take a decent picture.
I mean, now like I'll set like sheets aside and I'm like, taking a picture and I'm like holding a light and I'm doing all these like spiky angles and I can't get anything close to that. So maybe putting in the car is a solution.
The black background is huge.
The Venom was for Fox News, and that was when the new movie came out. So I mean, obviously, we sort of have to go with the times. Like we have to be sort of trendy in that sense and relevant. Yeah. And that was the movie that came out, and it was a fun carve, the tongue, and showing that on the news. So it was like, hey, snap that before went over to Fox, and I mean that was fun. That was two good carves.
Wow.
Yeah, very cool.
Ooh.
I like this. Very Batman. Reminds me of Scarecrow from Batman.
Yeah, little sinister texture. That was for another news station as well. And that one's sort of kind of, easy. You just have to like get there's a website. I'm blanking on it right now, and they make the creepiest scarecrow.
I think it's Carvers and Creators is the.
I think it's Carvers and Creators.
Yeah.
Carvers Creators. That's the site you're thinking of. Yeah.
Just defaults to that.
Yeah.
Everything does.
My life defaults. Nice.
So
Is
the
that
one to the left, it was a car for my doctor, and I thought it was funny. He'd help me out with some stuff, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna make zombie doctor, like surgery gone wrong kind of style, and I gave that to them. Then the one on the left, the gorilla, that was for, I went to World's Gym, and their whole theme was gorilla. So I brought them. That was like my third year sculpting pumpkins. It was like second or third year sculpting pumpkins.
That's a great paint, though. That's really good. That
do
gorilla.
you have the one she did this year on the ship?
Oh, Kraken.
The Kraken one.
Oh, the Kraken was great.
Oh yeah. I don't think I got that one. But that was a great one.
So that one, little zombie guy. Yeah, if we can find the Kraken one, that was like this was a busy year, and that was a big sculpt. I worked with Kraken Rum, and I had this idea to do this massive sculpt, and there's a pool in the backyard, and I was thinking like, okay, Kraken monster. And I'm like, well, I need to contact Kraken Rum because obviously, and
right.
It's great. So I had to go down this rabbit hole to try and contact them, and they're owned by Proximo Spirits, which is, they're a monopoly in the liquor industry. So I'm going to this rabbit hole, contacting people. Finally get a hold of Kraken Rum, and they're like, yes, this is super cool. So I gone out. Yeah, there we go. So
my God.
This idea. And they don't, so their whole thought process behind the Kraken is it's this monstrosity that attacked a ship that was transporting rum, and then the Kraken ink went inside the rum and created Kraken rum. So it's like this very black, dark rum. So they don't show the whole monster in its entirety. So I drew out this thing. I found that pirate ship. It's a toddler bed. It's a little Tykes toddler bed.
Nice.
That's,
Smart.
yes, that's $50 I've ever spent on OfferUp. And I'm like, I saw this thing and I'm like, take my money. So I go pick it up immediately. This whole thing I put together probably in like a 3-day time span. Get this pirate ship, transport to the backyard. Found this, 200+ pound pumpkin for the base, and then a buttload of butternut squash. And then I just started working, building the structure for this thing. Those photos were taken by my buddy Nick Betts, really talented.
Wow.
But that took me like 22 hours to completely, put together and carve, and had a Halloween party around that. So we did like the smoke bombs, flickering stuff. I got these little rum barrels on Amazon to like sort of do the size, size to scale. And then I carved half of that in the pool. So I'm like in the pool carving this thing.
Like literally swimming in the pool while carving?
Literally in the pool,
That's the difference between Northeast and California.
Yes.
I would have died of hypothermia in 10 minutes.
Yes.
Good for you.
So that was fun. That was a really cool project. Cleaning it up kind of sucked, and
sure.
The filters, the pool filters, sort of not happy with me, but worth it. Worth it.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny how the pool filter doesn't like shavings from.
Yeah. Oh, pumpkin. Oh, you're not used to organic. Suck it up, guy. Yeah. So it was fun. It was a good carve.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's dynamite. I love it. Mick, did you have any pictures of her on like the motorcycles too? There's one, I saw one of her on a motorcycle with a snowboard on her back while carving a pumpkin.
She was shooting a gun. She was shooting a gun.
And shooting a gun, yes.
Yeah.
Holy crap. It's like she had a third arm. It's unbelievable.
See if I can find that real quick.
It's amazing. Jesus, I thought I had hobbies.
Can you make it really quick? I mean, find it really quick.
There we go. All right, I'm back. Table got all rocky.
Pumpkin helmets.
You know what? You're a jack of all trades, Monique.
Very
impressive. Super duper impressive.
Thanks.
Jack o' lantern of all trades. Oh, Jesus.
You like that?
Harper just getting deep.
Oh,
like a poet.
Oh.
So yeah, you have a totally unique style. It's like
that's
really
great. Did you literally cover a pumpkin in those feathers?
It was cotton, so I just took cotton balls and I just stuck them to the paint, and it was perfect. I just ripped them out.
Wow, that worked well.
Yeah, you have zero fear about just going for it with different materials, which I really do admire about you. It worked great on the show too.
Yeah,
like
and
the way you just
didn't give it. Actually carved on Easter, so that pumpkin was so old, and I keep pumpkins I think I've carved pumpkins like up until July.
What?
I mean, they're not great, but I mean they lasted a long time. So that was in springtime. So that pumpkin like was there for a hot minute, and the ears. There's 2 pumpkins because I did the ears out of another pumpkin, and and I was like, how am I gonna get this fluff? And it was sort of, now and again, that was like year 3 or 4 of carving. So now, I can like sculpt the texture out of the pumpkin, but it was like, oh, what am I going to do? And it's like, oh, well, the cotton kind of sticks to the paint. So and then I stuck it outside of the gym that I go to. So a lot of things, I'm like, what am I going to do with these pumpkins? And I'll put them in miscellaneous places and just kind of like laugh. So I put it like in the kind of grassy area next to the gym. So, people come in and be like, oh, like, what is that?
Hell out of them. That's awesome.
Like, who put this there? Like, who freaking carves a pumpkin? The Spartan guy that I entered into Spartan Race USA, and I won a Spartan race from it. So I won a.
Wait, that's all you got to do is carve a pumpkin, and they give you their medal for winning the race. Man,
you got to run it.
I didn't do any work at all.
I can do that.
So the medals, those were from previous Spartan races, but they gave me a free one, which they get kind of pricey. So this was like, okay, if I'm gonna get a free one, I'm gonna get the most expensive one, which was an Ultra Beast. So that was in Tahoe. It was 31+ miles.
Jesus.
And 65 obstacles. at 6,000, 8,000 feet of elevation. So you're basically doing it all on the black diamond runs during
sounds lovely.
spring and summertime. So that was gnarly. So that was a good win. The devil, that was the first pumpkin I've ever carved or ever sculpted.
Wow.
Mickey, you're finding all the old school stuff,
Yeah.
huh? You got it. Mickey went old school on you.
I used a vegetable peeler, a steak knife, and a mechanical pencil. That was the only 3 tools I had for the devil pumpkin.
Where the hell does the mechanical pencil come in? That's what I want to
Those
know.
tiny little details. I was just kind of like stabbing it into the pumpkin. I'm like, I need something kind of my knife and a steak knife, and so I just stabbed this thing in, and like those are the 3 tools I had.
Jeez.
Mechanical pencil.
Wow.
That's my favorite. It's literally one of my favorite tools.
That really?
Not for pumpkin, for everything else in my life. But sketching out, when I really do sketch things for pumpkins, that's what I keep it handy.
And I mean, if you need something else to sculpt the pumpkin, mechanical pencil's not bad.
Yeah, right. Well, now I know that. I love learning new things.
Yeah, it was the first Halloween Wars I did, and I kept all my tools in a mason jar. So I get to the set, and I'm like, there's no way I'm going to ever be able to do a Food Network show. And I had, I think, like a couple clay ribbon tools that I got off Amazon. My trusty, I don't know if I have it. Yes, this is the first vegetable peeler I ever used, my trusty vegetable peeler.
Whoa.
I had my couple clay ribbon tools and a knife in my little mason jar. So I come to the show and I like put that on there, and everybody, I'm Danny Kissel and David Smith and Adam Beer, and they're looking at me like, so like, where's the rest of it? And I'm like, this is what I have, you know, like, and I was so novice at the time, because it's like, you don't understand what's possible until you see, you know, what can be done, and everyone else is there. And this carving community is pretty cool, because you have a decent portion of people who are willing to share trade secrets.
100%.
You know? And there's the rest that are like, they're mine, like, you know, like the Gollum Precious. It's like, they're mine, but you know, there's enough.
But those people are usually gone in round 1.
Yeah. Yep.
It doesn't. This culture doesn't reward selfishness. Is what I found. If you're selfish, because it's such a small niche and small community where we all enjoy kind of the same things, because we're all kind of a little cuckoo. If you're the one selfish one that's like, I'm a pumpkin, guess what? Everybody knows. Nobody wants to hang with you. So you either, have a good attitude, or everybody is like, no, I'm not, nope, not dealing with that.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. It's a true testament of, character. But again, I mean, we're in so many different places, and we come from different backgrounds. And again, like, there's enough business for McDonald's and Burger King to be on the same street. So for me, I consistently have the most fun. Like, I may not be the best in the room, but I will have the most fun, and I've kept that very consistent. But it really helps, like when you have someone willing to kind of, set aside and say like, hey, oh, you know what, you should use a Brillo pad, to, I think, Brandy was one of, use a Brillo pad and just kind of smooth it out. Sure. And it's like, man, you just saved me a bunch of time. And I mean, you're really helping out, like, because you could be on a team with this person. So it is in your best interest to help them out and show them tricks and trade, because everyone's going to have a different style. Why would you try and, be selfish? It's been done before. We all, all hail Ray Villafane, the pumpkin god. It's been done before. You're not,
right.
You're
not and that's the thing. Like, think about on the show, right? On Outrageous Pumpkins, which is now like the show for pumpkin carvers since Halloween Wars dropped the ball and thought Cupcake Wars would be fine as Halloween Wars, right? So the thing that I always noticed is everybody helps each other, because the only disadvantage that a woman has from a man is just natural strength on heavy round objects. So every now and again you need help, and everybody's willing to help everybody else. Even a smaller guy can't, and you got the biggest guy on set running over to make sure that you get shit in place. You don't want to win on a technicality, right? You want to win because yours is the best, but you also are making a ton of friends. Like you guys just had a reunion.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with anything except that you actually enjoyed each other's company and you were competing for a lot of money.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you just met a bunch of cool people that do the same exact cool thing that you do. And hey, you want to do that cool thing again somewhere else? Holy moly. Like what a, you know what I mean? That's stuff that happens in like 3rd grade. Oh, you eat paste? I eat paste. Want to go eat paste?
Yeah. Well, I think like pumpkin carving, a lot of people attribute to that. Like, oh, I did that in the 3rd grade. It's like, well, we're still doing it. You know?
Well, I say it all the time. I'm like, I literally sometimes get paid to do a child, like a childish act. It's like a fun, you know, it's for Halloween. You do your jack-o'-lanterns. And here we are in mid-November doing it. And Matt and I and Mickey will be doing this in August, carving squash and other various items based on what the wheel is. And we're just trying to show that this is an art form. It's subtractive sculpture on a perishable item. So you're not, the only thing that locks us into a time frame is the fact that it's rotting. It's going away from the moment we start, right? So that's our clock. So we get the wheel that gives us a little added pressure, and Mother Nature wants it back. So there's our other, you know, because otherwise you'd take a block of clay or a stone or whatever and chip a piece of wood and chip away for a month on it. We got 2 days, and then it's going to be rank, and it's going to have a black beard of fuzziness on it, and it's got to get done.
Which adds, and I love that about this art. You know, it's fleeting art, and a lot of people like the consistent question. I'm sure you guys get this too. Is, well, how do you preserve it? No, you know, it's almost like surfing, right? Like you'll get a different wave every time. Like you will never be able to replicate this type of pumpkin, this like the texture of it, like everything, all the elements that are going around you. You can't ever replicate this picture perfect moment right here, and you can't ever replicate that carving again. No. So it's so unique, and there's you appreciate a lot more, and it becomes sort of personal with the artist into the medium. And so when another person does that and you appreciate it, and then you only have, you know, a few mere hours to appreciate this thing, it has a different sense.
I agree. And especially with you can't recreate it again. It's you get through the process, and like we're doing it, having a good time. So I'm not even really thinking about what I'm doing. I'm kind of just listening and feeling the flow and having a good time with the shapes. And then before you know it, I'll be like, oh, there's another one. Like, I got to take a picture because I'll never be able to recreate it again. It's your brain telling your hand what to do. So your imagination gets to be, you know, guided through your hand. And we're doing it while we're talking. I'm gonna learn to juggle with one hand with the other hand to really make it tough.
This is difficult because I want to engage with you guys. I'm like, oh shit, there's a
you gotta carve. Oh, you can't listen to carve.
You just gotta learn to carve without looking. It gets easier if you can kind of stare at the screen.
See, a blind carve. There you go, blind carve.
That's me every Thursday.
Yeah, Cowboy Jack Durango asked, you know, can you carve a melon like a cantaloupe or honeydew? And you've done that. You've done fruit carvings before. So what is the difference between doing this and doing fruit?
Are you talking to me or
anybody?
Anybody? Yeah, I don't particularly like carving the melons because they're soft and you have to pretty much use a knife, right? It's very precise, like a surgeon. I mean, you can put on kid gloves with seriously raked tools so you don't dig in, but I found that you dig in too much. It's not as enjoyable as, I mean, these are fun, but butternut squash or those denser, like the Kaboka squash or like a good small Hubbard squash when there's like almost no core to it, you have the most material to work with. That's more fun for me. But any port in a storm, I'll cover a watermelon. I'll carve the shit out of a watermelon. I don't care.
Is that what's inside a watermelon?
Yeah. Sorry. Pretty much, man. That and seeds. But hey, Arson.
I think he gets more. He's like,
is he eating it?
He eats it. Yeah, he eats it.
Your dogs eat it too, huh, Matt?
Oh yeah, they've been eating it. They've been bugging me for it. I've been like feeding them, like, okay, stop farting. You know, I'll give them big chunks.
It's good for him. It's good for him.
So we have gone 106 minutes.
Oh,
yes.
How we roll.
That's how we roll.
Love it. I love it. So, I mean, there is so much more, Monique, that, I mean, we could go through.
Wow. See, I love that one.
Yeah. I mean, this is amazing. I know that these, you use certain knives on this one, and you're also a very talented, like you can draw like better than like it's insane. So
that's too much talent. I'm gonna need you to turn in a little bit of it.
Yeah, you're gonna have to
come back.
Yeah, you're gonna have to dial it down just a little bit.
Seriously.
And come back.
Talk about a one-upper. Just one-up.
Hey, you guys did
everything
over here.
Oh my God, so talented. It's crazy.
But I wanted to go around. I wanted to see what all of you have carved tonight. We can see Paul's out there. Let me solo in and Paul. I mean, like, you can see where it's going.
You can't kind of see. I don't know why the hell this thing's blurry tonight, but probably because I've had so many pieces of pumpkin smashing off it for the last month and a half. I'm actually going to do a fawn. You know what I mean? The goat person with plays the little flute. You know that guy?
Mm.
So yeah, this is going to be like, I'm going to turn this into the goat nose. He's be like, hello, I can't see you. Come closer. But yeah, I'm going to divide this up and do all those features. Then I'm going to give him little horns, and I'm going to fur it out and really make him suspicious. Like something over there is just not right. So,
hello, come closer.
Hello, I cannot. Salutations. Salutations. Ooh, the grass is soft. The grass is soft. Yeah, that's what I was totally channeling Adam Sandler on this carve. So
yep.
So yeah, and I'll wrinkle them up and do all that good stuff. But the ways to go, as we know, can't do it in an hour and a half.
Never. So I for whatever reason, this guy already had an ear when I started, but I'm thinking of kind of like an elf king kind of thing going on. So he's got a long way to go, but I'm thinking this ear shape's going to be nice. And then I got this thing so nice and thick. I got plenty of depth to go for a jaw, and yeah, he's got a ways to go, but he's getting there. And I really like this part too, which is he's got a really cool looking stem. So I'm trying to figure out what to do with his hat or his crown, but I'm thinking of making him a crown of some sort.
Looks like a knot. And to quote McFrazzlestats, you better not mention that again.
Oh, you say not.
A little elf king. Nice. I'm fairly embarrassed because you guys got so much done. I'm gonna do a little. My light's gonna mess this up.
There it is.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Oh, right.
It's gonna be a little goblin, like a little gremlin type thing. I'll have like the ears to go attached to him, but I think it's a fairy eating goblin, and he's
a fairy eating goblin. I love how dark and what is it? Fantasy. How fantastical.
Fantastical.
Yes.
And
nice. So I like how different we went on this, because usually Matt steals my ideas.
Oh,
sorry. You know, that's what happens sometimes.
So I know Matt has to go, but I wanted to plug Monique. This is her Instagram. Where else can we find your work?
I have a website. It's arthawkcreations.com. It has a lot of my work, carvings, drawings, portraits. But Instagram, Facebook, good to go.
Right on.
She's everywhere. NASCAR.
Yeah, exactly.
Hockey. I'm sure
Nobody when I'm down.
There's nothing she can't do. Amazing.
International Bodybuilding Federation.
Right.
In there. But this is where you can find us. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch. Guys, any last words before we go?
Yeah, I gotta get more hobbies. I gotta get good at a lot more things to hang.
I'm gonna go buy a motorcycle.
So talented. I'm gonna stop bodybuilding.
I'm looking on eBay for a motorcycle. No,
doesn't make me blush.
You're making my testosterone leak out of me.
Monique, she'll emasculate you.
Yes. There you go. You got your tagline.
That would be your wrestling name, the Emasculator.
The Emasculator.
Yeah.
At least a finishing move. The Emasculator.
Turnbuckle.
Nice. That could go
a lot of places.
And I already went there instantly. It was like
physically, psychologically, there's so many options.
In all seriousness, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you, Monique.
It's been a pleasure. You are just an awesome I want to say dude. I almost want to say dude. That's how awesome you're. Like you're literally cut from the same cloth.
Yeah.
And I'm just, pumped that you could join us, and I hope you'll come back again and join us again because we have a lot more to talk about and laugh about.
Oh, absolutely. Count me in. Just tell me time and place.
In like an hour and a half.
Thursday here. Yeah.
Every other Thursday for the rest of your life.
Yes,
exactly.
Well, next week is Thanksgiving, so we'll be taking the week off, but we will be the week after again with Carvers and Creators. So check us out. We have a big December coming, so we look forward to it. So thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you not next week, but the week after. Good night, everyone.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.